Hey there, guys. We've got news for Global on November 30th, and this week joining me to discuss the news is StarUltros again. So you can say hello, Star.
Hello, everyone. Coming out of the deep to celebrate this banner. Hello.
Indeed. So Locke is not being skipped, so you're happy about that. But as you're going to see as we go through this news video and everything, like 90% of the stuff is being skipped. So buckle in for that one. But Locke and Galuf are here, and you're very excited about Locke. Tell us why, Star Ultras.
I mean, I don't really care about the unit. All I care about is the vision card that comes with it. Because I'm featured on it, finally. Getting a little bit of recognition in the Envy era, so I'm really happy about that.
So these two units are not getting upgrades. There is your first signal that basically the global team has just written off these units and this week entirely. They just assume no one cares. They are putting in no effort to fix these units or give them anything whatsoever. Even the banner itself is like just a no effort throwaway. It's hilarious. But let's go over it. First of all, the banner. So Locke is a premium unit. Galuf is not. Is this the first time they have put premiums together with non-premiums? Star Ultras, do you happen to remember? Or because as far as I remember, they're always segregated, right?
Yeah, they're always separate banners, and now that they're both on the same, it's kind of like, hey, if you luck, if you luck onto Locke while you're pulling, well, maybe you just want to pity Galuf or something. I don't know, but it's a weird format, let's say, with that, the free one NV in the middle. Always kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that you really should take notice here is this is basically the, like, what do you call it? The finisher banner or the follow-up banner. This is not the banner that you go in excited about. That's always like the special step-up card or the special one with a perk at the end, like, a guaranteed unit or something like that. This is
True.
like just the garbage banner you use to close out your pity cost. Like, the last 4 tickets, we got to go do a few laps on the bad banner. This is only the bad banner. Is all like I said, they realize that if they're not going to do anything for the units, and if they're just going to skip all the content and all the everything, people aren't going to care, so they're just not going to bother. It's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because they don't care, it's going to cause players to not care, and then they're going to get like this confirmation, like, oh, they didn't care. It's because they didn't do anything is why no one's going to care. You see what I'm saying?
It's true. I mean, well, not the only reason, but I was gonna pull for that banner and buy some Lapis because I was completely drained by Hayo, and now I have to just skip it because there's nothing really going for it except that nice vision card that I will probably off banner at some point, right?
Mm-hmm. So the banner itself, we've got Locke. He is a premium. We've got Galuf. He's a little bit crept at this point thanks to Hayo. We'll talk about that in a minute. But and then the follow-up units. So Quina, who is useless. Creel, who has minor uses with her killers, but for the most part pretty useless as well. And then Sabin, who his crowns are being skipped, so also useless.
That's pretty sad, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very disappointing. So here is the premium Locke, who is getting nothing upgraded. No leader skill. They're not doing anything with the leader skill. And the most important thing for that means, what that means is he won't be getting the Clash of Wills category. So he's not going to get Clash of Wills Fire. He's not going to buff Clash of Wills Fire. He's not going to do 900% in Clash of Wills. He won't be able to use things like Rick's Vision Card. He won't be able to flex onto parties that aren't specifically Fire. For example, like you can't put him on an Elena party. You can't put him on a party, led by, Rick or something like that, because he's not going to get any Clash of Wills support whatsoever. And that's like, at the very least, they could have given him like the Dragon Quest buffs, which is like they just toss on a random morale per turn and give him the tags End of story. And that was viable buffs. Like Vern, I would say, is a great unit because of that in Clash of Wills, you know?
It just, it would have given them a little bit of something to be relevant, because right now he's just a gathering unit. Okay, sure, but the gathering was never even that great a tag in GP, let alone here on global. I mean, they're giving it to a few units, but if there's nothing for these units in the team altogether, well, you're not going to bring him to Clash of Wills. He's not going to have any use there. There's some synergy, I guess, with Richt, but then again, do we have a Fire and Light Breaker? Avon would, I think. Yes.
Avon technically, yeah.
But he doesn't really fit on that party. I mean, it's not like anyone would take him for his damage anyway. But it's just, I don't know. They've done my dude dirty.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Now, as far as Locke, what he is, he's a fire damage dealer. No real support in his kit, just a damage dealer. Now, I will say, his damage is really good. So here is a calculation for Locke right here. So in Dark Visions, very, very high. Like, he definitely did not need a damage upgrade. When I say he's not getting upgrades, I'm talking about the Clash of Wills support. Because without having those Clash of Wills categories, he's going to be a lot harder to fit into parties. Especially in Clash of Wills. And then in Dark Visions, it really depends on, the whole team you're using. But, yeah, like, all he needed, really, was just that Clash of Wills category, and that would fix so many of his issues, but he's not getting it. But his damage is good, so just to be fair, he does do very good damage.
Yeah, and he does have a little bit of support. I mean, he's got Perfect Dispels, Re-Raise, if that's ever useful anymore. And he's also got Mirage. It's an unlockable, so you have to re-unlock it every turn. But 2-stack Mirage, it can be quite useful.
I did see that, you know what, when I was browsing his kit for a refresher, and it just, like, that seems so unnecessary to me, the fact that he has to spend a turn to unlock a double-stack Mirage. Like, so many units, even JP units from years and years ago, have, like, double-stack on demand or triple-stack on demand, like Yuna, the Songstress Yuna. But, like, the premium Locke needs to spend an entire turn to unlock his double stack Mirage for one use, and then it goes back to being locked again. Like, what? That's so stupid.
So it's clunky if you bring him as the only Mirager for your team. Wasn't Mirager also the name of his ultimate attack? I think so. Didn't even think about that.
That's true. That's true. It was.
But yeah, unlocking it on turn 1, so you're going to get the physical attacks, and when you bring him for your Mirage on DB, it's not really viable. I've done it multiple times. So you got to bring somebody else to do it on turn 1 with probably either Garuda or the Needles, but sometimes you get 2 attacks, so it's not really viable. That was something I hated doing.
Yep. And then, his TMR is, a killer. It's kind of whatever. His STMR is a dagger. It's kind of whatever, just for him, basically. But the Vision card. So the Vision card is the Ultros Reprise, and for Gathering. So tell us a little bit about this one, StarUltros.
Actually, this is one of my favorite moments where I was on stage during an opera, trying to steal the lady from those dirty boys. I actually have this framed on my wall, and I'm not even kidding. So it's really nostalgic to see this in the game. I'm really happy to see it there. It's a really good card for gathering units. I think it's better than Richt's card. And he's getting the gathering, so I think he's going to want to use this.
Well, the card itself is literally identical to Richt's card. It's exactly identical, except for the category lock. So Richt's is all Clash of Wills. This one is all Gathering. But as far as stats go, it's the exact same.
Oh, okay. Well, it's something to, I mean, it's just going to go and equal something that's from 4 months ago. But whatever. We'll take the win.
Yep, definitely a very cool. And you actually said it has good background music too. Do you happen to know by memory the name of the song?
I don't remember the name of the song, but it's that song that plays when you are when Ultros crashes onto the stage and then the fight starts. That's the music that plays during the fight.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. If I remember correctly, that's like kind of like a quick upbeat song, huh?
Yeah, a little fanfare. It's upbeat. It's happy. It's a good one. It's a good song.
Nice, very nice. So yeah, that's Locke. So basically, he's just a fire damage dealer. He does have the leader skill, and it is for gathering as well as fire. It's 500 to all fire, so just straight up worse than Hayos, and then 750 to gathering units. Now the gathering category is really large. But I will say that, other than a few exceptions, most of the units in the gathering category are underwhelming or just straight up bad. Things like, Quina or Quistis, stuff like that. Secondary units that are just not going to be big deals because it intentionally excludes the main characters of most of the games, and that's usually where the powerful units are, like Titus and 10, or I don't know, Terra and 6. When she was used to be really strong, stuff like that. So
I think Van Harma is gonna get it later. I don't think he's gonna get it at release because he did it on JP. But when he got it, he actually added some damage to the category. That was nice for all the gathering locked events.
Nice, very nice. So yeah, that's the unit. And the other one is King of Bao Galuf, or Samurai Galuf as well, for the shift form. So this one is, we've talked about him in the past, and I've usually mentioned him as like the one to mention as far as damage dealing breakers. Then of course Veritas of the Frost came along. but yeah, so this one, I guess, it depends on your viewpoint. You can say either Gumi did us a favor by putting Galuf after the current or the last week's banner, or they just don't have good business sense by putting Galuf after Hayo and Frost, because now that Hayo and Frost are out, I have to withdraw all support for Galuf because I feel like he has been kicked to the curb by the existence of Hayo and Veritas of the Frost. But if you don't have those units, this is still a decent breaker. So what are your thoughts on him?
Well, I have to agree with you that he's been kicked to the curb, definitely. However, he has support for different elements, so that might be the saving grace if you need wind and earth on your team along with fire. He's the last, I think, break fielder that's going to have 190 in perils, because after that, they're all going to be released with 30% field instead of 40. Mm-hmm. And he does have, decent damage for breaker, but still it's going to be low compared to the rest of the meta. But it's not as much of a dead slot as, say, bringing Vanille or bringing Avon, because they just don't deal damage at all.
Oh, for sure.
He's got a 150 amp from the get-go. Well, EX1, but and I think that's good for him. Aside from that, though, like, if you got Veritas of the Frost, why would you go for him, especially with how they build synergy for fire and ice together?
Mm-hmm. Now I will say, though, for a player that is going, for a player that does want to replace him with Veritas the Frost on a fire party, that does kind of assume that you're also using Hayo, because Veritas of the Frost does not have the fire field. So, Galuf, like, he does still have the slot compression of being the breaker and the fire field in one unit, whereas Veritas of the Frost and Hayo as a combination are spreading those two duties across two units. But the thing is, that's two units you want to bring anyway, so it's not really a trade-off. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if your hero is not strong enough, then you can, I guess you're gonna want to have probably somebody else instead of him, and then you might want to just go with Locke and Galuf themselves. Mm-hmm. Also, please don't laugh at me for switching pronunciations and the unit names during the video.
And as far as damage goes, here's an early calculation. So, not quite as good as like Locke up here. It's also a little bit lower than Veritas of the Frost, but it's still pretty good. But this is our new top end 89 breaker. But Galuf is still good. It's again, not like meta tier, but worth putting on a party for the most part.
Yeah, he's decent. Like, you shouldn't be sad if you off banner him. Mm-hmm. But if you do have other units that do his job, I don't think he's necessarily worth pulling for now. Well, that's my opinion on it. I would have been excited about the banner getting both units, not so much anymore. Especially knowing what might happen in the future with all the skipped stuff. We don't really know. So who knows if Earth and Wind are going to be relevant as much to bring him along for them.
Exactly. And as far as TMR and STMR, nothing special really. A katana that's only for him, and a TMR that's it's got guts. So it's a decent guts TMR, sure. But
from a TMR, it's nice because you can get, well, you can't get really that much more anyway because it's an envy unit, but still it's a TMR, so it's easier to get.
And then his vision card is forgettable. It's completely forgettable. Final Fantasy V only. Low stats. Never going to use it.
You know what happens with an FF5 vision card, right? It's always worse than the others.
It really is. It really is. I don't get why they hate 5 so much. It makes me sad. And then the Final Fantasy IV portion of this banner, which is supposed to be the Final Fantasy IV, 5, 6 event, is Neovision's Awakened, Palom, and Porum. They are just cut entirely. They are not getting their Awakening. They're not getting the upgrades to their TMR and STMR. They're not getting their crowns. They're not getting their enhancements. They are just completely skipped entirely.
Yep, they're still petrified in the castle after all. Spoiler.
Oh, geez. The elder never made it there to cure him. And then the event. So those of you that are familiar with what this should have been a like King Mog farming event for the Ruby Dragon. What's it called? A series box event or whatever the official name is.
I don't know how they've renamed them, but yeah, the box, Box King or whatever.
That is apparently also being skipped. This is a raid event. Now, this raid event is the one that was supposed to come along with the part 2 of this event with Setzer and Rydia Neovision's bases. This is a raid event that they're skipping, that they're putting here instead. So it seems like they're skipping the box event as well. And the reason we can know as like basically a soft confirmation is, for one thing, these raid events will usually tell you, units from the following week will be, etc. will be a bonus. You can see right here there is no notice about upcoming units being a bonus. So there's no upcoming units. There is no part 2. Also, the Sniper Eye and the Crystal Orb right here. These are supposed to be the base. Actually, the Sniper Eye shouldn't be here, period. The Crystal Orb should be... Yeah, neither one of these, actually. These are from special gear upgrade stages, where you go through, you get the recipes, you upgrade it to +2, +3, etc. from killing the bosses. They're adding these directly to the raid with the final form of the items. So that's another confirmation that they're skipping all the EX stages, the bonus stages. And this one was the Sniper Eye is supposed to have Setzer's flat attack on it, because this is like his personal item, kind of like this is Locke's personal item right here, and it's missing. So what does that tell us, StarUltros?
That they're skipping a lot of stuff, they're getting lazy, and we're losing 1,600 Lapis out of nowhere.
Oh, a lot more than that. We're going to play a little bit of a calculation game in just a minute.
Don't make me cry.
Oh, so much Lapis is being skipped. So this is like the other side of the sword, the double-edged sword. We're all going to get that 20k compensation someday. Still not here. But we're not really getting it because they're just siphoning all the other Lapis out of the game in return. So, but yeah, so here it is. We're skipping upgrades. It seems like we're skipping the entirety of the Setzer Rydia event as well, because they're merging them. We're not getting a part 2. As we can see, it's not mentioned in the news, and all the stuff that was on the event is being moved into this event, and the unit stats are missing because the units are just apparently not coming, period. We're missing an entire week.
You know what I just thought? I'm gonna put on a tinfoil hat for a second. What if that mistaken compensation that they threw out and that everyone's gonna get now was actually an excuse to give all that lapis that we're never gonna get and just rush much faster to NV plus.
It definitely makes sense what you're saying. I don't think they intentionally did it that way, but it definitely has valid points of maybe, because like this is unquestionably once again the rush forward to the new rarity. We saw the same thing in 7-star. We saw the same thing in Neovisions, where we just like go into high gear, skipping everything as we rush forward to the new rarity. It's happening again. No surprise. History repeats itself. So yes, like the reason we're skipping entire weeks of events, entire units, entire banners, is obviously they're rushing forward to get the Neovisions Plus, because they already know the word is spreading. Older units are lower lifespan because Neovisions Plus is coming and it's going to power creep your entire roster. So yes, they definitely are skipping tons and tons of content because of that. Did they intentionally do the Lapis compensation thing as a mistake in order to blame that? I don't think it was intentional, but you never know.
No, probably not. But they're definitely going to use it though for that, is what I think now.
Mm-hmm. And before we go to the story update, I just mentioned more stuff we're skipping. We're also missing, that should have been here this week, is the Barrier Tower exploration. So an entire exploration is skipped. We're missing the What was that?
Oh no, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're also missing the Sabin crowns. So the upgrade for Sabin, the Neovision Sabin, his crowns and the crown stage is being apparently skipped. Balthier, who is one of the highlight gathering units, got crowns. They're being skipped entirely. So all the Balthier upgrades, people are looking forward to him being useful again. Apparently that's not going to happen. And the gear stuff as well. So we're gonna real quick. Remember I said we're gonna calculate some skipped Lapis numbers. Like look at this. Like this is the wiki. This is like the Dragon Quest. We're getting just more skipped stuff than release stuff per week now. They're just skipping everything as we rush forward.
It hurts so much seeing it that way, man.
Oh, I know. And here is what this update should have been. So let's go ahead and just look. Oh, also we're skipping a free login card, which is, whatever. It wasn't even that good. But still, it's just, we're skipping stuff. So
yeah, I didn't expect to see it, though, because it was for a collaboration of another app that they released on GP. It's probably we don't have it here.
That makes sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and just real quick do some calculations. So we're missing, so don't forget, every single first clear of a stage is an extra 100 Lapis. So this is 100 plus the first clear is 240. So 240 plus, oh God.
That's 220, so 320?
320 plus, this is going to take a few minutes, but we're going to do this. So 320 plus
390.
390 plus
350.
350 plus 400. So just from the series event, we're missing 1,700. We're also skipping the Barrier Tower exploration. So that's an extra 700.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so we're also skipping...
Wait. The clear reward that he put on top is the 100 that we're adding on top.
Oh, you're right.
Like it's a 4 mission, so the one on top and then the 3 others.
Okay, you're right. So let me take away 500 from the previous stuff. Okay, so we're back to 1,900. Okay. We're missing the gear strengthening event. This was for the crystal orb that they're just putting directly into the raid. So that's 100, 200, 300 plus a 600 more.
Yep.
So we're missing the 2 crown stages. So this is Balthier's crown. So that's 100, 200, 300, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1,000 Lapis for Balthier's crowns. Then Sabin's crowns is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another 1,000 Lapis from Sabin's crowns. So we're also this is just this week. Hold on, we're still going. So we got that. Okay, so that's just for this week. We're skipping, and that is 4,500 Lapis this week. Now
that's one entire poll, or maybe two even poll.
Mm-hmm. And now this is like the part 2 event, which we basically confirmed we're not getting. So here's more stuff we're skipping. So here's the raid event that should have been next week, is right here. So another gear event is 1, 2. Remember the sniper eye that we're getting in the raid? So 200, 300, 600. That's 600 more Lapis. That's going to take a minute, and I shouldn't be doing this on the video, but I really want to see this. So again, crown stages, Kane's crown. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1,000. So another 1,000, and we're just going to add another 1,000 for the crowns for Creel, because I'm sure it's the same thing. Sure is, another 1,000. We did that. Skipping the whole banner, and there. So grand total of skips is 7,100 Lapis. Isn't that fun?
Where's the compensation for that?
Exactly. So even though we're getting 20,000 compensation, they have taken away 7,100 Lapis from the current Final Fantasy 4, 5, 6, events. So and it's gonna keep going. I guarantee you. So the next events should be Final Fantasy Tactics. I will bet you money, if we play this game again during Final Fantasy Tactics, we're going to be another like 5,000 Lapis is just missing from what we should have been getting. So they're not really giving out 20k Lapis because they're taking it away from what we should have been getting instead.
Mm-hmm. But if they skip anything during Tactics, they're not going to skip Ramza, obviously. And if they skip Sid, I can see people rioting in the streets. So that's going to be fun.
It's crazy. And not to mention just the Lapis, like the unit upgrades. Like I said, Balthier was very, very looked forward to by a lot of players. No one cares about Sabin, but he's being skipped as well. Creel, Kane. Kane was actually a respectable damage dealer after his crowns. I guess that's being skipped too. So
I did actually use Kane on my light team lately maybe like the 4 DVs ago on JP, and Sabin, I've been using him a little bit as well on the fire teams because with the crowns he was actually a respectable damage dealer.
Yeah,
for your last slot.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is too, like he was like, these are units that are supposed to go onto this gathering party. Like I said, most of the gathering units are not that good. A few exceptions. Crowned Balthier was an exception. And, like, they're just taking it away.
Yep.
Yeah. So, as we mentioned, we are getting the story event, though. So, Season 4, Chapter 9, Part 1 was supposed to come with the Rydia and Setzer event, but because they're just compressing 2 weeks into one, here you go. I guess get some Lapis. Although not much. The story events seem really short these days. The story updates.
Yeah, there were like 4 or 5 stages, not much longer. I'm wondering though, and maybe I've missed that on a previous update, but when are we due for the 3rd floor of the tower?
That we're not due yet. We're not overdue. I think that came with the Metzi banner itself, the Season 4 week. Yeah, it was like Physalis and Metzi are getting units on a new Physalis unit, and that's the whole Season 4 stuff. All that came together. So the crowns for Roos, which we're probably gonna skip. The Metzi unit and the Physalis unit as well were I think they came right after Tactics in JP.
Okay.
So about 3 weeks away.
Getting it. Okay.
Yeah. And then the only other update is, some random leader skills, but also they're adding the gathering category to the global exclusives that you would kind of expect to get it. So, Wilk, Louise, Richt, etc. are getting the gathering because they had the whole story event, the whole Power Ranger crew and then the JP units you already knew about, like Ihana, stuff like that. So yeah.
I guess the only relevant unit here is Richt, because Ihana, you don't really care about her stats anyway.
But Wilk's getting it, so isn't that amazing? One of our best premiums. Not really.
Yeah, a breaker that we're not going to use anyway.
And
well, just like Louise, when you think about it.
Louise with her intrinsic, I think she still has extremely rare uses when you're going with like a full mage party. Then that extra 1% break can be better over an 89 breaker, depending on the party as a whole, of course. But
and if you have somebody else for the field, I guess, yeah.
Field. And she actually does have an amp field. You know, we usually forget that, but she does have a 25 fire amp field. It's kind of low, but she does have it.
It's there.
And that's basically it for the week. So as far as the actual content we're getting, nothing to make videos about for me, I guess. You know, we've got a raid event and literally nothing else. That is the only event is a raid. They've skipped every single EX stage, every single crown stage, every single gear stage. The exploration is skipped. So as far as me making videos, I have nothing to make videos about this upcoming week. I'm sure I'll find something to make a video about, but as far as new content, nothing.
It's going to be Clash of Wills again with other parties and miscellaneous videos.
I guess I will take Hayo to OTK some of the grace of element trials, you know, wind, dark, etc.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, I think fire is still giving a few people trouble, so maybe they could use them for that.
I was actually testing the idea with the Grace of Thunder, and I will spoiler. Yes, Hayo literally turned 1 OTKs all 3 stages. I already
no way.
Oh yeah, I already confirmed that. Certainly does.
Oof.
And I was going to record that tomorrow, but I'll probably add in all 4 of the Grace trials just for the fun of it, and we'll do them all in one big video. Just Hayo blowing up the game. He's real strong.
Looking forward to that.
But all right, thanks again for joining me, StarUltros. I wish your favorite vision card and all would have been on a better week, but it is what it is.
I'll take it being in the game only. I'm happy with it.
All right, so see you next time.
Bye, everyone.